online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Get up, get on the floor. My world is with my girls. Living on the dance floor. Living on the dance floor. My world is with my girls. Living on the dance floor. Get up, get on the floor. Living on the dance floor.
Hello.
Sparkle fingers.
Jazz hands.
I love it.
Yeah. Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's reclap. Yeah, we are on tonight.
I said reclap last night on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills show.
Oh, you did?
I was like, wait, that's for Dance Moms.
Wait, that's on Wednesday night. Yes. Well, we would sincerely like to welcome you all to this episode of Dance Moms, our favorite crazy dance show, After Show. Welcome to AfterBuzz. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to our channel and head over to youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV. Check us out on SoundCloud and iTunes. You can tweet us at #ABTV Dance Moms. You can tweet me at Candice_Camacho. And good evening, everybody. I'm Candice, your host, Candice Camacho. Happy to be here, followed by dun, dun, dun.
Hey, everybody. I'm Christy Olson. And I would also love if you'd hit that thumbs up button. I am all about the thumbs up. That's why I have two.
Yes.
No, really, we've been getting a lot of great, really positive tweets from the fans of this after show, and I read every single one, and I can't tell you guys how much I appreciate it. I love to hear your thoughts, so keep them coming, please.
Yes. So it's just you and me tonight, girl.
Yeah, ready to break it down.
Yeah, you are rocking that color tonight, the pink and the pretty necklace.
I'm all wrinkled down here, but you can't see it, so it's all good.
No, it's perfect. And I showed up in my AfterBuzz colors again.
I love it.
I'm just going for the brightness.
We have to color coordinate on this show.
I know. Well, with me, it's either black or like totally bright. So anyway, so we are in season 5, episode 11. It's entitled Nia's Last Chance. Although I felt like it could have been titled The Pact.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been better. Yes.
Yeah. And she said that so many times, and like with her nails and everything and her poise. They're in a pact.
I have so much to say about that. I can't wait to get there.
I know.
I can't even believe it.
I know you do. So the show opens, and Abby, thankfully, congrats the girls on their win.
That was the first word out of her mouth, was congratulations.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, we're off to a great start. She's a happy girl.
Yeah, it started really positive, and it was fantastic. After that, Jill and Holly, they start to chat about, they're kind of on a tangent about how the girls need to switch up to lyrical, or from lyrical, because, you know, lyrical wins. But, I mean, after all, they are competing, so isn't it all about winning, Jill? Right. That's what I mean.
She did agree with that when Abby pointed it out.
Yeah. And I also thought that you know, although, like, I do somewhat agree with them, I just was like, Holly, man, you should just pipe down and, you know, Nia's on the chopping block, like, you know when too much is too much. Like, I just didn't agree with her, like, piping up, especially when lyrical isn't Nia's forte, you know?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, Holly's taken it way overboard for me.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, she's such a smart woman, but she's just not doing Nia any good.
No, and she has such an ability to express herself well and to be reasonable and sensible. She used to be the voice of reason, and I miss that from her. It's kind of those that, as they were saying last week, the pick your battle stuff. So now she's just everything is a battle with her, and I just feel like Abby's got her tuned out, and she's not good. She's ruined her ability to like effectively make any kind of argument at this point.
Yeah, it's like every common sense, like even keel is just out the door, you know. And the point that she brings up is pretty decent about that the girls might not always be, you know, competitively competing, you know, lyrical with Abby, but they've got a job right now, and that's what it is. So, you know, if it's not broke, then don't fix it, right?
Right. Yeah, when I initially watched, that's what I'm thinking now. When I initially watched it, I was thinking, you know, these girls are at the age where if they were going to go be lyrical dancers or be ballerinas, they would be in New York City already. So, like, let's, you know, so maybe we do need to push that. But at the same time, I kind of feel like that's over for them. They're not ballerinas. They're not going to be point-toe professionals at the New York School of Ballet or whatever.
Yeah.
Because they're Dance Mom stars. So that was the reason why also that they lost in LA was because of too much, you know, too much lyricism. Thank you.
That was lovely.
And yeah, I kind of agree that they need to switch it up. But at the same time, I wouldn't have said that out loud.
I know.
To Abby.
No, you don't go when you're on the chopping block to, you know, say what she should be doing in her own place.
Right.
So I don't know. I just think, and you know, we see it later in the episode that maybe they shouldn't have opened their mouth, which basically they just should be all mutes, I guess.
Some probably expensive shoes on the feet in that mouth.
Exactly.
Right?
Prada shoes, man.
Your Prada
ruined.
shoes, girls.
Okay, so there is a homework assignment. There's a homework assignment on Jojo. You notice all the girls walk in with their pieces of paper.
As if they don't have enough to do.
Exactly. And when did they have time to actually think about this and write this down?
Right?
They're to write down positive reasons why Jojo should be a member of Abby Lee and positive reasons, and reasons why she should not be. So that's their homework assignment, and we got to see this a little bit in the previews, and it seemed really like gruesome to me in the previews.
Yeah, and our assumption was that that was going to be happening for all of the girls, that they were all going to say positive and negative things about all of each other. I couldn't believe that it was just Jojo being singled out. What did you think about that?
Well, I thought quite a bit about it, you know, being a mom myself, and I was like, oh, Christy and I are going to disagree on this, you know? That's what I thought immediately. I was like, ooh, that's going to be good and juicy. But then I just, you know, all of the critiques, like Mackenzie was like loud, off in group dances. Somebody else said off in group dances. They all said too loud, too much. So I was like, well, I think hearing it from her peers is a good thing. And I think that she will take it more to heart. Like, she is too loud. She is too much. She does need to work on her timing, and I feel like she will. I don't feel like the girls were cruel. I didn't particularly like Nia's comment because
that came straight from Holly.
Yeah, because
this is the time when Abby keeps bringing up, you're turning into a mini-me, a mini-me, a mini-me. You can see that 100%.
Yeah, that wasn't a constructive. The other girls, they actually gave constructive criticism, I feel like.
And those were the things that Abby wanted Jojo to hear, that she is a little bit too much sometimes and that she embarrasses the rest of the group with being a little bit loud. And you know that's exactly what Abby wanted them to say. She wanted Jojo to hear that. But what Nia said just sounded like it was coming from Holly.
Yeah, well, you know, Jojo didn't take dances away from other people. It's Abby. You know, it wasn't Jojo's fault. It's Abby. You know, Jojo's just coming in. So I didn't like that. But I did think she did get constructive criticism. I mean, and when you're in that position of being a professional dancer, like I remember getting weighed in when I was in shows.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How old were you doing that?
About 22.
Wow.
And then they gave me like a weight that I just couldn't get to. And so then I would like, you know, stand on one foot on the scale to try to make it like lower. And then one choreographer came up to my thighs once and like squeezed them together, like to make them smaller and like, you know, this would be ideal, Candice. And
oh my God.
Yeah. And like, even though it was cruel and it really hurt my feelings, like, she didn't need to say it to me again. Like, There was like no carb eating after 2 p.m. You know, because you gotta, if you want the part, you have to look the part and act the part.
Right, and that kind of goes along with Nia saying that Jojo takes opportunities away from people. It's like no opportunity is given to anyone.
Right.
You know, no, you don't just get that automatically for being on the team or because you got skinny or whatever. You know what I mean? Those opportunities aren't just given. You have to work hard for it, and you have to adhere to someone else's standards. As maybe wrong as that sounds, that just sounds so awful.
Well, I mean, I didn't die. I'm still here. You know, still in the business. I didn't move back to Missouri and like shuck corn for a living, you know.
Thank goodness. Huh?
I'm working it out. So, and I think that we're going to see like an improvement, but I was happy to see that they see that they all said like she's a really hard worker and she works hard on her dances.
And she handled it so well.
She earned that jacket.
For sure. I wasn't sure if she was maybe going to talk back or argue with the girls, like, well, you do that too. Or I was sort of expecting that from her because that's what we've seen even to Abby.
Yeah.
She's talked back that way and sort of been defensive. And I was surprised. I mean, a couple of tears, and that just really grabbed at my heart a little bit.
Me too.
But it was all about tearing her down to build her up.
Yeah.
It was that final, like, remember how much this opportunity is worth.
Exactly.
Like, remember, you're not perfect. You're not here because you're the best one and we need you. You're here because we want you here. So here's all the bad things about you. And oh, by the way, come be on the team permanently.
Yeah, exactly.
Congratulations.
Exactly. It's so funny. Yeah. I have that loud conversation with my husband a little bit. I'm like, you're too shrill. This is inside voices. So it is, you know, it can carry on into adulthood, so I'm glad we're nipping it in the bud. Okay, so moving on to the pyramid. We have an interesting pyramid. It started out pretty cool, and then it got a little uncomfortable because we have Nia, Kalani, Kendall, Mackenzie, and Jojo all on the same because they did an amazing performance. Looked incredible.
Yeah, and I was thinking, oh, this is another positive pyramid. Like last week, too, it was sort of like a build the girls up kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Instead of tearing them down and telling them what they all did wrong. And I was like, is this some sort of strategy that Abby has that she's sort of taking the edge off this pyramid thing?
Maybe.
For the girls. But then and Maddie was on the top.
Yeah.
And, you know, again.
But I mean, I don't know what she did win the overall high solo, but then she did look uncomfortable when she was singled out from her peers. But I mean, she should be like a little bit used to that at this point.
You would think.
Yeah. So we are traveling to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to New York Talent Experience. That just sounds like hard. You know, that just sounds tough.
Yeah. Anytime you tell me New York and dance, I feel like it's going to be the creme de la creme, the A+ team.
Mega ballet, mega trainees, ballet trainees. But the interesting thing about this competition is that they're going to be critiquing the routines live. So going into it, they don't know if it's going to be, heaven forbid, during the routine, but I figured it would probably be after the routine. So that was pretty an interesting idea. I think it put the girls on their A game a little bit.
Yeah, they all seemed really intimidated by it.
They did.
And Abby was surprisingly not intimidated by it. I thought that she would be the one who would sort of be like, so we really got to, you know, we don't know what they're going to say, and we really got to make sure that we represent ourselves well, and, you know, but she wasn't really freaking out about it. It showed a confidence, I guess.
Yeah, I actually took it like she was a sellout. Like, I don't know. It's your responsibility. I don't know.
Like, have fun with that, girls.
I know nothing. I'm going to be in the booth or in my comfy seat. Work it out. So we've got one group routine and 3 solos. And the moms win. It's a period piece, Decadent Darlings. It's a musical theater number. So Abby's out to show the moms, you know, who's right, who's boss, who's going to win with the lyrical versus a different style.
Yeah, Abby also made the point that the girls need to learn their period pieces.
Yeah.
You know, from the different times.
Yeah.
What the Charleston, this is from the 20s, what they end up doing, and every decade sort of has its own dance craze. And I thought that was just another example of Abby's trying to prepare them. You know, everyone gets really down on her a lot. But we have to remember, at the end of the day, she's a dance teacher, and she really is preparing these girls. She's made a lot of big stars, and she's preparing them to go out and be working dancers. And that was just another sort of evidence of that. It's like, well, they got to learn their period pieces, because who knows what kind of show they could be cast in LA or New York or Chicago or anywhere.
Exactly. I kind of think the moms were expecting more of like the harder hitting jazz, like contemporary, like they see in LA, but then I guess they didn't really like specify that. So then, so Abby thinks like different is musical theater. So anyway, and then we got 3 solos. We've got Maddie, Kendall, and Nia doing a solo. So,
yeah. I'm always glad whenever Kendall and Nia both get a solo, because it's another opportunity for them to show us what they can do and how much they've improved.
Exactly.
Especially Kendall. I feel like every time you see her dance, and Abby made this point that she hasn't peaked yet, every time you see her do a solo, I feel like you see something different, something better, something that you can, something clicked in her head, and she, every time she goes out on stage, it's better than the last time.
Yeah, she reaches just like a little bit further. I like that too. But there's a little bit more pressure on Miss Nia this time. If she doesn't place, then she's not going to be doing a solo for a very long time.
Which is understandable to me.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't win, and all the moms even agreed, and when Abby made that point, that you go to competitions to win. And if she doesn't, why should she, again, just be handed an opportunity just because she's been on the team, when maybe the other girls would win with that opportunity? So I know that probably sounds a little harsh, and maybe you guys are going to get on me for that, but I did understand Abby's thinking on that.
Yeah. Well, Abby she doesn't play into emotions.
Right.
You know, like a lot of us do, myself included. And she's all about business and winning, but this is her business. And, you know, business is business, and Nia does need to win. Point those feet.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that when we get to her dance.
What do you think about Nia always having these, I think what Abby calls like ethnic performances? To me, I always kind of think like she does them great. I mean, she just kills it every time she has something with that in that sort of genre. She does so well. But she already does that well. Like, give her something else. You know, that's what Abby's all about, is teaching them something new and doing something else. Like, give her something else to do. She doesn't just have to be...
You mean
she doesn't
like...
just have to do that.
You mean like give her a lyrical?
Yeah.
Well,
or even just something that's not...
ethnic, like more contemporary.
That Abby's not thinking, oh, that's Nia, so she has to do the ethnic dance. Like, it just seems a little bit tired to me. I'm kind of surprised that people don't have more of a problem with that.
Well, I mean, it could be maybe that that Abby has given Nia that opportunity, and she just her feet, you know, they don't point quite as well as they could, you know.
Yeah.
Because you can sit there and like force your foot down for a long time. You know, there's exercises that you can do, and it hurts. And you got to put Tiger Balm on it, and you know, but it can be done. But
yeah,
so.
Well, that little conversation that Nia and Abby had in the studio got pretty heated.
It did. It did.
Yeah. What did you think?
I mean, in a way, I think Abby has a point. She does, because I mean, I guess if there's one thing that I've learned in my life and through entertainment, it's like if you really want something and it comes, but it's just not the right time and you're forcing it, it'll come around again. Like if Aubrey O'Day wants to record with you one day, she's going to want to record with you again, you know, so she could have just waited. But I do understand Holly's frustration with the Maddie B video. She did have a great part. She's not getting a lot of attention, but Holly has to know that it's not going to get her kid anywhere.
It showed us how hurt Abby was, I think, by, or how offended Abby really was by Nia and Holly's actions. She just keeps saying, that was sneaky, that was going behind my back, I don't like it when moms do that, I don't like it when they teach their kids to do that. She's just like, that was so an assault on Abby's senses for Nia and Holly to go do that recording and to stay at the music video. She's so hot under the collar about it still. And I
Yeah.
don't really blame her. And I thought it was interesting when she made the correlation, like, well, if someone was a murderer, you know, I wouldn't
That
just
was
bring them in here and
ridiculous.
forget
That's
about
like-
that. Well, she wasn't calling anyone a murderer, and I guess if I was going to think of an extreme example, maybe that just is the first thing that comes to your mind. Like, well, if someone's a murderer or a thief or a whatever.
Am I just supposed to forget that they were like hatching away a second ago, and now we're just going to do a beautiful lyrical number? Hey,
Yeah. Well, I think that's a representation of, like, that's how Abby feels. She feels like they murdered her loyalty, or I don't know, is that the right way to say it?
Yeah.
But you know that what Nia and Holly did was so backstabbing to her.
Yeah.
And when Nia kept saying, "Well, can't we just forget about it in the studio, and can't that be separate?" It's like, no, Abby should be your manager, and Abby is your teacher and has been since you were a child. I mean,
exactly. But I also thought that it was kind of interesting that Holly kept bringing up, you know, loyalty and do you have my back, Jill and Melissa, and you know, Holly didn't have Abby's back. Sorry, my alarm's going off. I don't know why it's going off.
it's time for the Dance Moms after show, Candace.
I'm late if that's my alarm. There you go. Just push it off. Thanks.
Well, it's like, you know, anything Nia does is not going to be separate from Abby and Dance Moms. That's why she has everything she has. That's why they have their fame and they're making a lot of money. And that's why she is well known all around the world. And why she could go and sell her single on iTunes was because of Abby and the notoriety that she has from Abby and the show. So it's never going to be separate.
No.
No.
And
the fact that she thinks that was, again, more like Holly in her ear stuff to me, because they're
Yeah.
both very sensible, and that just doesn't make sense.
it just, none of it makes sense at this point.
yeah.
So I just think that if she's going to go on about loyalty, then she should have been loyal. Mm-hmm. You know, so. Okay, well,
Agreed.
up in the viewing room, the mamas actually congratulate Jessalyn.
Yay.
Right. They're pretty supportive. And while Abby calls Jill and Melissa down to work the props, which I thought was really, like, retarded for, like, you always have, like, stage people dressed in black for that, not like moms.
Right.
Walk the props on. Jessalyn is trying to, you know, connect with Holly and say, why is it our girls that are always have the digs? If it's not Nia, then it's Jojo. And I just don't understand why Holly doesn't think that Jojo's trying to get on her good side because Holly's an original member. Mm-hmm. Like, that's, you know, pretty cool to have an original member, you know, that connection.
Well, and also, Jessalyn just got what she wanted. What they've wanted this entire season.
why
her
doesn't
and
she just
JoJo
shut
have been
up?
working toward. Yeah, so I was surprised that she would even bring it up, or that she would even be thinking about it at that point. I guess she did seem pretty elated, but I guess there still was sort of the aftermath of JoJo having to stand there, watching her daughter stand there while everyone kind of tore her apart a little bit. So maybe that's where Jessalyn was coming from. Mm-hmm. But it's a weird, the Three Musketeers. It's a weird camaraderie.
Exactly. Weird and fake.
Yes. Well, yeah. I mean, they were screaming at each other in LA, and I won't forget that one of them called each other a lousy mother, right? Holly called Jessalyn a quote like a lousy mother.
Yeah, that's the lowest of the low.
Yeah, I'm so surprised that Jessalyn would look at someone like that and be like, okay, let's be allies. You think I'm a lousy mother, but let's go be mothers together.
Well, I think Jessalyn is using Holly, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Using. I'm coming out with negative words tonight. So, and then Melissa is caught really bragging about Maddie's solo, which right when I heard the word mannequin, I was like, her solo is going to be incredible. And Melissa was like, oh, gosh darn it. I just love Maddie's solo. And every week she just says it just gets better and better. I'm like, Melissa, really, sweetheart? I mean, I know we don't hear from you much, but you might just want to stay a little bit more neutral at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we all know about your daughter's career.
Yeah, well, you definitely don't have to tell anybody about that, especially the other dance moms. Pretty sure they think about it constantly, about Maddie's success.
Yeah. And then Kendall is getting her one-on-one time, and Nia hasn't started yet, and Holly wants to know what's... She wants to know why the other moms don't get the injustice with Nia. You know, Nia's always the last one and isn't getting a whole lot feedback. So when when Melissa and Jill get back, Holly reveals how surprised she is, again, that she and Jesselyn have become friends. And I just wanted to say, hello, ring-a-ding-ding.
If you're surprised, then
There's usually a backstabbing reason.
right. Women's intuition. If you're thinking, oh, this is weird, why would I be friends with this person? Well, maybe you shouldn't be friends with that person.
Yeah, but I just don't. It's not really personal. Like there was in the Maddie B video, certain moms stayed, certain moms went. So don't take it personal that I think that this is the best choice for my daughter, and you thought that was the best choice for your daughter. You know. I just don't see why that's such a big issue. Why she doesn't think that she has that Jill and
Melissa don't have her back.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I think Holly just wants them to speak out as loudly as she does and to have as much of a problem with it as she does. And her problem stems from Nia and the treatment of her daughter. So why would Melissa and Jill feel as badly as she does? Or that doesn't mean they're not backing her up. That just means they're not as mad.
Yeah.
And they don't have as much reason to be. So why would they be? You can't just like get everybody in a big riot just because you're angry. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I mean,
Holly never used to do these sorts of things. She's just at her wit's end.
exactly. And then this is when we bring up the issue of the Pact. And the Pact is with Jesselyn, Holly, and Kira. And they kind of come to the conclusion that if any one of their daughters is in jeopardy, they all come to the other one's rescue. And at one point, Jesselyn said she loved Nia.
I got that too, yeah. And I was like, that's laying it on a little thick.
Yeah.
That's where you keep saying that
Fake.
seems fake. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, it was very like Valley Girl too, like
Love her. I totally love Nia. That doesn't sound fake at all.
oh my God, love you.
Oh my God.
So bad. So, and I just wondered, I was like, who's going to tattle to Abby about the Pact first? Is it going to be Jill or is it going to be Melissa?
Oh, but these moms are smart. So they got to wait for the opportunity when they're getting tore down by Abby or when Abby has a problem with something they do, and then they pull it out.
Exactly.
And we'll get there, but that was
Yeah.
very calculated.
Mucho el smarto, girls. Okay.
Well, and you know, Melissa made a great point, and that's what even when Jesselyn pulled out the word pact, I'm like, are we 12? Are we 15, 17? Like,
Yeah.
what? And Melissa thought Melissa was so disgusted by it. And that was sort of my feeling. It was like, she said that's something people would do in high school. Yeah, it is. Like, you're not going to band together against something. Like, you all are there for your daughter's best interest, and you're all adults. And it just sounded bad. It just
Yeah.
sounded immature and silly. And it showed that what they're trying to do is not support each other. You know, a pact would be, oh, let's support each other and let's all be there for each other. But this pulling out the words and throwing it on the other moms like, well, we have a pact. That just
Exactly.
negated any positivity that it would have behind it for them to band together and be supportive of their daughters together.
Exactly. So basically, it's just nothing.
Silliness.
All right. Well,
Catty girl silliness.
Candy Girls. I did want to say that when real quickly revisit the Nia's rehearsal when Abby was going at her, I just felt like Nia was so poised and respectful when Abby was just, you know, when Nia was saying like, just leave my other activities there and then let's just focus on my dances. But like I said, I do get Abby's reasoning, but then she just pokes. But I mean, I felt so bad for Nia this whole time.
Nia definitely stated her case in the right way.
She did.
Definitely. And she is just so well spoken. I mean, just kind of seems mature beyond her years. And I also noticed earlier in the episode when Abby was saying to her, you're not going to get any more solos if you don't place, Nia nodded her head and said, yes, okay. And it was a little bit of a change from, remember when Abby told her, you know, bring your sash and your tiara on stage, and Nia gave her a blank stare and didn't answer, and Abby had a huge problem with that, and it started a whole big melee.
Yes.
So this time, Nia knew to look Abby in the eye and say, okay, and nod her head. And I thought, wow, I mean, taking the high road. Last week I was saying that it seemed like Nia seemed so beaten down and like she's maybe giving up a little bit. But this episode, it was like she's sort of back. She's got some kind of confidence back. She's not going to let Abby tear her down anymore, and really spoke up for herself well. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
In the right way.
In the right way. Very poised, beyond her years way.
Yeah.
So at the competition, where the girls will be judged live, Nia goes first with the color purple. What do you think of hers?
I loved all these solos. They were all my favorite solos in a long time. Nia's especially, from costume and hair to choreography and the music. I mean, it was just amazing. It was one of those dances that you can't stop watching. Yeah. And I rarely say that about Nia's solos, and I think that has more to do with the choreography and what's all behind it, not with her dancing. But I didn't, even last week I noticed her feet and legs, and this week I thought they were great. I thought she was straight and the feet were better. And if I can tell, I'm not a professional dancer by any means. So if I could tell, I thought like, hey, that was probably a really great job. And it did kind of blow me away a little bit. I loved it.
Yeah, I liked it too. I thought it was very graceful and well executed, and I thought that her face fits the mood, and I could tell that there's just like something really like beautiful and gorgeous like coming like down the line when she gets done with all this craziness. She's gonna like flower and flourish out here. If you want to win at a competition, I just feel like the music was too slow, and there wasn't like enough quick beats in it and enough tricks. I mean, I see the feet, because at the very end, and you want to like execute that ending pose, her foot was in like half releve. Oh. So she should have been like, it's hard to do with my hand, but she should have been like all the way up here, but her foot was like down like that. So it looked like kind of like a lazier ending. And she can do that with her feet. So she did, however, get a lot of praise from the judges.
She did. The whole thing sort of read to me more like she was acting so well, like she was an actress who did a dance and really pulled it off or something. Just her face and her attitude, and that was some of the critiques that the judges said too. It was like you could feel this dance. You know what I mean, when you watched her. And I do want to point out, they only showed the positive. No, I guess they're not criticisms then. The positive critiques of Nia's, but there was a cut there where the judge who was giving her critiques said, but at the end of it, and you can see when they go back and show Nia, she's saying, okay, like there definitely was a critique that it was like, oh, all this great stuff, but this and this and this, and Nia said, oh, okay, thank you. So there definitely was something that was cut out there, and I'm thinking it was a negative since there was a but. Okay, there was a but there. even if they didn't show it to you, I caught it.
Okay.
I have that TV up real loud so I don't miss anything.
But really great positives before, which is good. But it was kind of interesting. Well, we'll get to the placement later, but okay, so then we've got Miss Maddie comes out, and man, before she even started, I was like, this is gonna be good. Gorgeous hairpiece, very chandelier inspired. She has like all of that experience of like that character, and I think it made this character just like so easy. I love those transitions and her face in and out. It was just amazing. I really loved it.
Yeah, I thought it was great too. And such a cool concept. Something different. I'm always surprised by what Abby comes up with for these dances. And this one was just really cool to me. Something different, something fun. And Maddie obviously loved it. I know Melissa was saying every dance that Maddie does is her favorite. But when you like something, or when she's that into it, I mean, she gives a great performance either way, but you could tell that she loved it. She lived that mannequin. She was that mannequin.
She was that mannequin, and I loved her expression at the end.
Yes.
Like in your face, like boo.
Yeah, right.
But she got some like little comments from the judges on making her knees straight, straightening her legs, and she's gotten that that critique quite a few times.
And it sounds like that was one of the things that Abby's been concerned about, with Maddie missing some rehearsal time and not being in the studio every day with Abby at training because she is so busy. We heard, I think last week, Abby was saying, your training has suffered a little bit. And it sounded like this is more, not a new problem, but like it has gotten a little worse lately.
Okay.
And, I don't know.
But if looks
I
could...
was surprised to hear anyone tell Maddie that she's doing anything wrong.
I know.
Because we just never hear it or see it on the show.
I know. You judges got some guts.
Yeah, right?
But I feel like if looks could kill at that moment, Abby would have been the murderer that she accused Nia of being. Abby was just not handling that whatsoever.
No. Well, it was understandable when she said, it's frustrating for her and Gianna to hear things that they tell the girls all the time. My first thought if I was Abby would be like, oh, now the judges think I don't even know how to tell my students how to point their feet and keep their legs straight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm telling them that all the time. I mean, that is pretty annoying.
Yeah, that would be annoying. Yeah, she does tell them that. So
there could be a montage, probably, like a 2-minute montage of Abby just saying, like, point your feet, straighten your legs, straighten your leg.
I told you that.
Yeah, right. It would be like a fun remix. Someone should do that on YouTube.
Right. Why aren't you doing that? I told you that. And then we have Kendall, her Paris waiting for a train solo, which I loved the story. I thought it was I thought she did a really great job with it. And you're right, like we do see her improve each and every time.
Yeah.
She was a gorgeous girl.
It was so cute. And I think the facial expressions is something in particular we've seen her improve on. And she was just giving you that character. Very much so. I kind of was wondering if the choreography didn't bring enough for her. She's always whipping out those beautiful turns, but I was wondering if maybe the difficulty level just wasn't there in the choreography for her to be able to pull out a first or a second place.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, she first of all I think the number was like 75% fouettes. So that
Over and over and over again.
Yeah, and then she didn't use the stage. She didn't travel. She got more of the facials at the end, but I just felt like she was lacking like a little bit of confidence. But yeah, I saw improvement. So she'll get there.
Yeah.
But
it was super cute. But.
Yeah. But she's, to compete out here in, LA, she's got to have to pull the rest of what she's got out and, come to competition and be different. And she needs like a bold factor, I feel like.
Yeah. If she was older and she was really in Hollywood, they'd tell her to dye her hair some crazy color or something to stand
like
out.
purple or whatever.
Gotta be edgy.
Yeah. The judges, one judge, I want to see you connect to the judges more. So, I mean, I get that with the facial expressions and then tell the story.
Yeah, it just wasn't the kind of dance that you, like I said with Nia's, you just felt it. You felt it from her. You felt it in the music. And Kendall's dance just wasn't that kind of dance.
Yeah.
That's that intense. So, I mean, I suppose that is a legitimate criticism from the judges, but I was sort of like, well, it's just not that kind of dance where you're connecting. You're just sort of putting on a cute little story.
Exactly. Yeah. And I felt like, it was like a cutesy story.
And the other thing that sort of came to my mind when they showed Maddie getting negative criticisms and Nia and Kendall's only good, I thought, ooh, that could maybe not bode well for them. Because sometimes when something is at like just such a loss, like you're like, oh, well, that's not a top 5. You just say, oh, this is what you did great and great and great, because there are a lot of things that would have kept you out of that top 5. So when they gave the girls those 2 all positives, I was sort of like, that probably means that there was too much negative to even
say.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, backstage after that, I mean, basically the group number can't come fast enough.
Yeah, right.
Jill and Holly are just arguing like broken records. So on to the group number, which was, I loved it. It was fantastic Kalani's smile throughout the number and just the happiness of it, and the Charleston character, the outfits, the wigs. Oh my gosh,
So just on point.
yeah, I thought it was amazing. And when she said musical theater, like they don't usually come out with like as good of choreography, but she did. I loved it.
I thought Mackenzie really shined in this one. You know, she's so short, she sticks out, and they had her doing some extra tricks and stuff, and she was just rocking it, like start to finish. It was as if she knew she's a little smaller, and she's in with all these girls, so she just has to dance a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
And I just thought she really brought it, and what was fun about it was that it kind of changed throughout. Like, I feel like they hit every sort of 1920s style dance thing you would think of. They were flapping, and they were Charleston in, and I don't know the real terminology, please don't.
That's it.
Right?
Yeah.
But it brought a lot. It was so fun to watch, and it went so fast because it seemed like you're like, oh, now they're doing this, it's so cute, and it's so together. When the critique was that it was clean, I was like, yes, that's a perfect word for it. It was super clean.
Super clean, yeah. I did notice at the end, Jojo fell out of the turn and then barely nailed the end, and then her spacing was off because she didn't execute the end. So I do know what they're talking about, you know, when they say timing and keeping up, but I did get a sense that, man, she was going for it. Yeah. So, A for effort, she'll get there.
Yeah, well, yeah, and this is another one that I think the girls probably loved this dance. You know, and you can just tell when they're into it and when it's something that they feel is fun, it's so much easier to be fun when you're having fun.
Yeah.
And to relay that to the audience.
Yeah,
And
it
I
was
just got a
super
lot,
cute.
I just got a big old dose of fun out of it. I thought it was great.
I'm waiting for, remember at the beginning of the season when they had the number Stomp the Yard?
Oh, yeah.
I'm just like waiting for like another number like that. Like I just love that number, the music and the counts and the hits and the choreo. I loved it.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites, too.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting with the different non-lyrical. But anyway, back to the on to the awards. So we're at the awards, and names of other kids from other studios are being called, like name after name, and everybody's just kind of looking at each other. And not even
Maddie's face. I don't think I've ever seen Maddie look like scared or nervous that she wasn't going to win.
Yeah.
She has a lot of confidence, and rightfully so. And I don't think we've just ever seen her be that like look around and like look at everyone else like, oh my gosh, am I not going to? What's going on?
Yeah,
you
like,
know what I mean?
what the heck is gonna happen?
Yeah, like, am I not going to win? Oh my God, I don't even know what to do with that.
Yeah.
She just looked terrified.
She was terrified, and I was worried sick for Nia. Sick. I just was like, is she gonna pull it off?
I expected them all to be in the top 5, and even when they first called 5th and 4th, I was like, oh,
3,
did they
2,
take
1.
it? Top 3, finally, this is gonna be so great. And no,
I know. So they finally called for overall high solo. They called Maddie, and she was surprised. She just like, she paused. She heard her name. She's like, that's me.
thank goodness.
Thank goodness. I'm taking home a win. So I was surprised, that they, but before they called Maddie, I just was like, could it be? Could Nia win? I was like, Nia.
Oh, did you think she had a chance?
Well, I was being hopeful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted her to win. I wanted that win for her.
That's the mom in you. I like that.
Yeah, thanks. I think she deserves a lot better than she's getting. And then I guess Abby was correct in her lyrical assumption because the group comes in third.
Third place.
Which I was surprised because it was like spot on.
And I thought it brought so much more than some of their other first place winning group numbers.
Yeah.
That I have been a little bit disappointed in or didn't really think were that great. This one I was so sure.
Yeah.
Like if those other numbers are first place winners, this is definitely, yeah.
But I mean, the moms couldn't be right for ratings, I mean, goodness sake.
We can't let that happen.
Exactly. So, and Abby's, she's extremely livid that they got third, but I think that she's happy because she can say, I told you so.
Yeah, she needs that opportunity to be like, I know what I'm doing. Here's another example that you guys don't and I do.
Exactly.
Not that she wanted it to happen necessarily, but it was interesting how that was the first place she went with it. Like the second they walked in the room, well, moms, this is your fault. Like it can't be my fault. You know, this is your fault.
Exactly.
To kind of displace the blame. And
Yeah.
of course she's going to do that because she's used to winning.
Well, they think it's, Holly's fault because of her defiance, and it's rubbing off on the girls, which could, honestly, it could be true, but I felt like the girls always pull through. I mean, they're just like steady. And this is where Jill shares her opinions about the Pact.
Yes,
To Abby.
Yes, because Abby's about to tell her, you brought up this whole argument about doing lyrical dances, and so Abby's going in to blame Jill and to point out that Jill was not going along with what Abby said, which is Jill's whole MO lately.
And before she can do that,
right? Jill's like, wait a minute, I'm not the one who's doing anything wrong. Look at them, they made a pact.
Yeah, they have a pact. Listen to them.
Yeah.
They're the ones with the drama. Yell at them.
Yeah, Jill's being so like kind of catty queen bee-ish lately, and I don't hate it. Like it's not horrible enough to kind of raise my flags. It's just enough to be like, oh, all right, girl. Like, you're gonna deflect? Okay, I can respect that.
Yeah, like, work it out. And she's looking very like polished and poised in her little vignettes, and she kind of is just, Kendall's getting some special treatment. That's all she cares about.
Right? Yeah,
Which,
I don't think Jill has reached her peak either. Just like Abby said about Kendall.
Exactly. She's kind of like moving up the charts too, Maybe just, level off here, Jill. Just a little bit. So, and then to end, they visit the scuffle between, Holly revisits the murder analogy that Abby gave through to Nia.
Yeah, Holly goes so far as to say Abby called me a murderer, which that's where it kind of went. Again, Holly just taking it a little bit too far. She just used to be so sensible, and now it's, no, Abby didn't call you a murderer. She used an analogy, maybe not a great one, but she was not calling you a murderer. And when you take it that far and saying that to Abby, that just makes Abby more frustrated with her. Yeah, more like, see how ridiculous you're being, Holly.
Yeah.
Because that's ridiculous. I didn't call you a murderer.
Exactly.
She's giving Abby a little more power when she acts that way.
Well, just like the pact shouldn't have been brought up again, neither should the murderer thing, because it's just so ridiculous. Like, to bring it up again is just ludicrous. Just ridiculous. Do you have anything else to say?
No, man, it was a great episode.
Yeah, more
I liked
juicy.
it. Yeah.
And then we saw that there's Abby UK coming up.
Yes, Dance Moms.
Dance Moms.
UK. So I really want to know what you guys think about that. Do you think there's room on Lifetime for Dance Moms and Dance Mums? And I don't know. The new lady, when they showed in the previews, I think her name was Jennifer or something, she doesn't seem quite as crazy and hardcore as Abby. And you would sure think if they had that kind of footage of her, they would use it. So I was wondering, I was like, oh, is it going to be a little flatter than Dance Moms? Or have they just not gotten into it that deep yet? I'm really curious.
Yeah. Well,
how it's gonna proceed after this first episode.
All I knew was I've heard those exact lines on Dance Moms. Everything is on the line, I've got the best dancers and the best choreographers, and I've heard it before, so they're really gonna have to I don't know, come up with something a lot crazier. Somebody wrote on Twitter that it's like Dance Moms but with worse teeth.
Oh,
so
I love that. That's funny.
Yeah.
I think I said that. That was a good one. No, I'm just kidding. I'll take credit for it.
Let's go into predictions.
Oh, okay.
And now
We were kind of
your
already
AFTERBUZZ
predicting,
TV.
but I gotta have the music too, get in the mood.
Yeah, Abby mentions in the preview that they're going back to LA in a couple weeks. And so I'm thinking, I don't know if we'll see that next episode, but when we do, that's going to go exactly the same as last time they were in LA. And it's going to be more of the same. Mom's being frustrated over opportunities and Maddie getting everything.
Exactly.
Kathy will be back next week.
Oh, my girl, Kathy. I can't wait to see who says who has a big butt and, you know, who throws an apple at somebody. And you're with the winners. I'm with the winners. You're with the loser.
She brought so much crazy last week that my prediction is that next week is just going to be off the rails. She has to do something. It seems like every time we see her, she has to top herself with the drama. And so it could get really, really sticky. Even stickier than, you know, go eat your tea and crumpets and that kind of stuff.
My prediction is that Kathy thinks that she's going to win. And she always likes to kind of copy off ALDC numbers. So I think her number is going to be called mannequin. And everybody's going to be a mannequin. Yeah. And the boys are going to walk out with the girls as mannequins. And apparently she has like a whole new troupe.
Well, she mentioned that some of the girls were ones that had history with Abby.
Yeah.
So does she go in the phone book and look up everybody that has ever been rejected by Abby who would have some sort of negative, something like they're out to get Abby? And so they're going to work that angle. I think there's going to be some surprise moms that come back that are going to be bad. And also, I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, I don't want to see any more mom drama on
Bridget.
The Candy Apples side.
That's what I was going to say. I bet that whole storyline is going to continue to play out with Bridget and Lucas.
Even though they got kicked off?
Maybe they'll be coming back. Kathy will realize she needs Lucas.
Yes.
Maybe in the dance and she'll go back. Yeah, she'll go back crawling, or Bridget will come back crawling.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the reason for bringing Kathy back is to revisit that storyline.
That's a good, They made up over a bag of apples and a glass of wine.
Oh, I love it.
And do you have any news and gossip?
I do. Let's move on to some news and gossip.
I guess we're wrapping up.
Oh, nope, we have lots of shout-outs and news and gossip. Can't do that. The tweeters will be bad. So apparently, now this competition they went to this week, there was judges and awards given out, but apparently when you look at the website of this competition and this organization, they say that there's no judging, no scoring, and no competition.
Okay.
So it's quite possible that was just for the show or just for the storyline, or they did it the one time just for Dance Moms. I want to thank Selena Ross for pointing that out on Twitter.
Thank you.
Yes. Also some more Chloe news. You know, we love to keep you guys posted on what's going on with Chloe. So she's going to be in another music video by a girl named Bianca Ryan, who you guys might know from America's Got Talent. It's sort of, that artist Bianca described it as like an electro ballet.
Okay.
And she really wanted Chloe to be a part of it. And we should see that video in a couple of weeks. Thanks to Maybelline for that one. And Chloe had her first competition with her new studio for the season, and of course she won. She got first in the duo trio category, and also their group dance was the #1 dance in the competition, got the highest score of the whole competition. And she apparently, from her tweets and Instagrams, is super happy at this new studio. It's called Studio 19, and she's doing very well. I know you guys all love her. We love her too, so it's great to hear that.
Very good.
Yeah, and also I mentioned last week, I was like, where is Vivi? Did Kathy give up on her? Bianca Anderson pointed out that Vivi was at the competition. You could see her in the background or on the side at one point.
Okay.
So I missed that. And I also just want to give a couple of shout outs to all the tweeters. Like I said, I read all your tweets and I love that they're so positive. We love hearing from you. Tracy Urbina, Anna Lusky, Karen Abusab, you're great. Allie, love ya. And Sarah McCluskey, thank you all so much for tweeting along with us. Philly T86 is always watching live. We love you guys.
Hey, Philly T.
Keep tweeting me at Christy Reports. And please check out also my YouTube channel, which is at Christy Reports. Where can they find you, Candice?
Yeah, thanks for joining us tonight. Again, thank you for all of your tweets. We really appreciate it. You can tweet me at Candice_Camacho, and we will see you next time.
All right.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.